Strap in and get ready for a rubber-burning journey through the golden age of American horsepower. In this mega countdown, I will spotlight 100 of the quickest muscle cars from the 60s and 70s, revealing how their bargain bin price tags back then have soared into small fortunes today. From Ford's towering 429s to AMC's pint-sized powerhouses, each ride's got a story to tell. Kicking things off at number 100 is the 1970 Ford Galaxy 500 XL 429. The 1970 Ford Galaxy 500 XL 429 was a full-size powerhouse built for muscle enthusiasts who craved big block performance. Its heart was a 429 cubic inch V8 engine, delivering a stout 360 horsepower and 480 pounds of torque, more than enough to send this heavyweight down the quarter mile in 16.3 seconds. The Galaxy 500 XL wasn't just about straight-line speed. It featured heavy-duty suspension and optional performance upgrades that gave it a commanding road presence. Initially priced at $3,500, the Galaxy's value has surged among collectors, with well-conditioned examples roughly selling for around $10,000. Next up at number 99, I've got the 1969 AMC Rebel SST 343. The 1969 AMC Rebel SST 343 was American Motors' foray into the muscle car arena, offering a blend of performance and practicality. Its 343 cubic inch V8 engine generated 280 horsepower, allowing it to complete the quarter mile in approximately 15.5 seconds, placing it ahead of contemporaries like the Ford Fairlane. AMC produced a modest number of Rebel SSTs in 1969, adding to its uniqueness. The car's original price was around $3,000, but a well-maintained Rebel SST today can command prices upwards of $20,000 at classic car auctions. At number 98 is the 1967 Dodge Monaco 500. The 67 Monaco 500 wasn't your grandpa's Dodge. It was Dodge's way of flexing muscle in the full-size arena. With a 383 cubic inch V8 under the hood, unleashing 325 horses, this beast clocked a quarter mile in just 14.6 seconds. That's no small feat for a car tipping the scales at nearly 2 tons. Back in '67, Dodge went all in on style and speed, packing in bucket seats, console shifters, and some serious road presence. It was a luxury liner with a lead foot. With only a limited run, this car remains a rarity. When new, it sold for about $3,300. But try finding one now. Expect to shell out a little more than $30,000 or less if you're lucky. Hagerty had a '67 Monaco 500 listed for $20,000 not too long ago. Coming up at 97 is none other than the 1970 Ford Maverick Grabber 302. The 1970 Ford Maverick Grabber 302 was the little guy with big dreams. Its 302 cubic inch V8 churned out 210 horsepower, giving it enough grunt for a 16.2 second quarter mile time at 83 miles per hour. Not the fastest, but its grabber trim added bold stripes and spoilers that scream street cred. Ford sold over 579,000 Mavericks in 1970, but only a fraction were grabber models. At $2,100 new, it was a budget-friendly choice for young gearheads. Today, a well-kept Grabber 302 can fetch $18,000, with one recently selling for $19,000. Coming in at number 96 is the underrated 1972 AMC Gremlin X 304 V8. The 1972 AMC Gremlin X 304 V8 was the quirky underdog of the muscle car scene. With its stubby design and optional 304 cubic inch V8 producing 150 horsepower, this compact car clocked a 15.8 second quarter mile at 88 miles per hour. While not the fastest, it offered something unique: muscle car fun in a pint-sized package. AMC sold just over 25,000 Gremlin X models that year, making it a niche favorite. Priced at $2,200 when new, these oddballs have become collectibles, with clean examples selling today for $20,000. The number 95 pick is the 1967 Chrysler 300. The 1967 Chrysler 300 may not be the first car you think of when it comes to muscle, but this full-size luxury coupe had serious performance chops. Powered by a 440 cubic inch V8 producing 350 horsepower, it could run the quarter mile in 16.1 seconds. Not bad for a car tipping the scales at over 4,000 pounds. When Chrysler built thousands of 300s in 1967, only a few were equipped with a high-performance 440 engine, making this variant a rare find. Initially priced around $3,400, according to renowned BAT auctions, a 67 Chrysler 300 440 in good condition sold for $2,100 on April 12, 2022. Coming up at 94 is the 1973 Plymouth Duster 340. The 1973 Plymouth Duster 340 was the little muscle car that could. Powered by a high-revving 340 cubic inch V8, it churned out 240 net horsepower and ran the quarter mile in 14.6 seconds at 96 miles per hour. Not bad for a budget-friendly ride. With its lightweight design and affordable $2,600 price tag, it became a favorite of young hot rodders. Plymouth sold over 250,000 Dusters that year, though only a fraction were 340 models. Today, you can snag a well-preserved example for around $30,000. At 93 is the remarkable 1969 Buick Special Deluxe 350. Back in '69, Buick dropped the Special Deluxe 350 and it was ready to run. Loaded with a 350 cubic inch V8, it churned out 260 horsepower, making this ride one serious contender at the Strip. In just 15.8 seconds, it ran the quarter mile, leaving its competition eating dust. The 1969 Special Deluxe was a tribute to Buick's engineering, merging muscle with comfort. Not exactly a household name like the Mustang, but it held its ground, faster than plenty of V8s in its class. Originally, it hit showrooms for about $3,000. Now, if you can find one, expect to pay upwards of $40,000 for a clean model. Up next at 92 is the 1966 Mercury Comet Cyclone GT. The 1966 Mercury Comet Cyclone GT was Mercury's ticket to the muscle car wars. Powered by a 390 cubic inch V8 producing 335 horsepower, it delivered a solid 15.3 second quarter mile. Beyond its straight-line speed, the 66 Cyclone GT came equipped with a 4-barrel carburetor, dual exhausts, and an optional 4-speed manual transmission for maximum control. Its sport-tuned suspension, bucket seats, and rally-inspired gauges gave it a performance feel from the driver's seat. Mercury produced 24,164 Comet Cyclone and Cyclone GT models in 1966. Of them, 2,158 were Cyclone GT convertibles. Today, pristine examples can fetch around $35,000 under the hammer. Coming in at 91 is the 1973 Plymouth Scamp 340. Don't let the compact frame fool you. The 1973 Plymouth Scamp 340 was a street predator in disguise. Powered by a high-revving 340 cubic inch small block V8 pushing out 240 horsepower, this lightweight Mopar could scream through the quarter mile in just 16 seconds. Built on an A-body platform, the Scamp delivered a killer power-to-weight ratio, making it a favorite for weekend drag warriors. With production numbers hovering under 9,000 units for the 340 equipped Scamp, it's a rare find today. Sticker priced at a modest $2,900, 340 Scamps now command serious cash, somewhere around $40,000 at leading auction houses. At number 90 is the 1974 Chevrolet Nova Custom 350. The 1974 Chevrolet Nova Custom 350 brought style and muscle to the mid-70s, a time when the industry was shifting toward emission controls. Powered by a 350 V8 making 175 horsepower, this Nova still managed a respectable 15.2-second quarter-mile time at 90 miles an hour. Not bad for an era when muscle cars were being neutered. The custom trim added some luxury touches, but make no mistake, this car was built for the strip and the street. Chevy moved over 390,537 Novas that year, but the Custom 350 was a standout choice. The 1974 Chevrolet Nova 350 came with a $3,200 sticker price, but a base model sold for approximately $34,100 on July 12, 2024 at a Meacham auction. Up next at number 89 is the 1970 Dodge Dart Swinger 340. The 1970 Dodge Dart Swinger 340 was Mopar's no-nonsense muscle car, built for gearheads who wanted speed without frills. Pop open the hood and you've got a high-revving 340 cubic inch V8 pumping out 275 horsepower, propelling this compact beast through the quarter mile in 14.8 seconds at 95 miles an hour. That's faster than most people expected from a car this size. Dodge sold around 13,785 Swinger 340s, giving it a cult following among budget muscle car fans. Priced at just $2,700 back in the day, it was the ultimate bang for your buck performance car. Now, a clean example could set you back more than $35,000, with one recently selling for $37,500. In at number 88 is the 1969 Buick Wildcat. The 1969 Buick Wildcat 430 wasn't just a car, it was a heavyweight contender in the muscle car world, packing Buick's mighty 430 cubic inch V8. With 360 horsepower and 475 pounds of torque, it barreled down the quarter mile in 14.3 seconds at 97 miles per hour, a remarkable feat for a full-size luxury coupe. What set the Wildcat apart was its combination of performance and refinement. Buick dressed it up with chrome trim and a luxurious interior while giving it a beastly engine capable of embarrassing smaller muscle cars. 67,453 Wildcats were built in 1969, most being coupes priced at $4,300 new. Want to own one? It costs roughly $40,000 now. At number 87 is the 1967 Pontiac Grand Prix 428 HO. The 67 Grand Prix wasn't just about class, it had sass too. Enter the high-output version of the 428 cubic inch V8, pushing a hefty 376 horsepower. This monster could sprint the quarter mile in 14.6 seconds, matching the 67 Monaco speed while serving up a more refined ride. Pontiac paired brute force with sleek looks, making it a head-turner at the drag strip and the country club alike. Fewer than 6,000 units were equipped with a 428 HO, making it a collector's dream today. Its original price would set you back around $3,700, but now prices soar north of $45,000 for units in good condition. Next up, at number 86, comes the 1968 Mercury Montego MX390 GT. The Mercury Montego 390 GT wasn't the flashiest car in 1968, but it had guts. Tucked under its hood was a 390 cubic inch V8 pumping out 335 horsepower. That gave this mid-sized Merc enough muscle to knock out a 15.4 second quarter mile, surprising more celebrated competitors. Built for drivers who wanted performance without screaming about it, the Montego GT was relatively rare. Only a small number were produced with the 390. Back in 1968, it sold for around $3,000. Today, you won't see them often, but when you do, prices range from $25,000 to $35,000. Coming up at number 85 is the 1972 AMC Hornet SE360. AMC wasn't afraid to play with the big boys, and the 72 Hornet SE360 proved it. A lightweight compact car stuffed with a 360 cubic inch V8, it produced 285 horsepower and clocked a 14.9 second quarter mile. The 72 Hornet SE360 wasn't the fastest, but it offered affordable muscle for roughly $2,500 when new. AMC only made 784 SE360s, so finding one today is like spotting Bigfoot. A clean example now goes for $30,000 to $40,000. This Hornet was all about the bang for your buck, a no-nonsense muscle car for those who wanted to punch above their weight. Up at number 84 is the 1969 Dodge Polara 440. The 1969 Dodge Polara 440 was the unsung hero of Mopar muscle, a big car with a bigger engine. Dodge dropped the 440 Magnum V8 under its massive hood, producing 375 horsepower, pulling off a respectable 14.4 second quarter mile. This full-size monster wasn't built for subtlety. It was for those who wanted speed and space. Originally priced around $3,200, it delivered impressive power at a bargain. Though civilian Polaras were plentiful, 440 models were far rarer, as many were outfitted for police use and driven into the ground. A clean 440 Polara today can fetch upwards of $40,000 under the hammer. Next, at 83, is the 1965 Ford Falcon Sprint 289. The 1965 Ford Falcon Sprint 289 was the compact muscle car that didn't just whisper about performance, it shouted it. Born as Ford's lighter alternative to the Mustang, this Falcon came loaded with a now legendary 289 cubic inch V8, producing 271 horsepower in its Hypo K-Code variant. Mated to a 4-speed manual transmission, this setup launched the Falcon Sprint down the quarter mile in around 15 seconds flat, a time that rivaled heavier muscle cars like the Chevrolet Impala SS. The 1965 Falcon Sprint was produced in fewer numbers than previous years, and the standard equipment did not include a tachometer, unique steering wheel, or special chrome, each priced at $2,500 new, but now restored examples are highly sought after, with prices ranging from $30,000 to $50,000 at auctions like Meacham and Barrett-Jackson. Coming in at number 82 is the 1973 Ford Gran Torino Sport 429. In 1973, Ford's Gran Torino Sport 429 wasn't just another muscle car. It was the epitome of early 70s brute force. Sporting a massive 429 cubic inch V8, this big-bodied beast pumped out 205 net horsepower due to emissions restrictions, but still delivered a solid 15.5-second quarter mile. While it wasn't as fast as some earlier muscle cars, its curb appeal and growl made it a street king. Made famous thanks to the Starsky and Hutch TV series, the Gran Torino became a cultural icon. Ford didn't produce them in large numbers with the 429, adding to its value. Back then, you could drive one off the lot for under $3,500. Today, good luck finding one for less than $50K. Moving on to 81 is the 1973 Dodge Charger Rally 400. The 1973 Dodge Charger Rally 400 stands out as a rare gem from a transitional period in muscle car history. Built for enthusiasts who valued style and performance, the Rally package added muscle to the Charger lineup, headlined by the 400 cubic inch V8. Rated at 245 horsepower, this engine could hustle the Charger down the quarter mile in 16.1 seconds, keeping pace with some of the big block rivals. The Rally trim wasn't just about speed though. It featured performance-oriented suspension, sway bars, and Rally gauges, offering drivers a more engaging experience than the standard Charger. Priced at $3,100 when new, the 1973 Dodge Charger Rally 400 has climbed steadily in value, with a mint example recently selling for $42,000 at Meacham's Indy auction in 2023. The number 80 spot goes to the 1966 Ford Galaxie 7-liter 428. Ford's Galaxie 7-liter was a gentleman's brute. In 1966, the 428 V8 was introduced to give Ford street credibility with its 345 horsepower and a quarter mile time of 14.5 seconds. It was no lightweight. For Ford fans, this was the sleeper before the Shelby Mustangs dominated headlines. Only 11,175 hardtops and convertibles combined were made, making it a rare find today. This car didn't just go fast, it did it with style. Originally selling for $3,300, mint condition examples now fetch $50,000 plus. At number 79 is the 1969 Ford Ranchero GT 428 Cobra Jet. A muscle car with a truck bed? Yep. The 1969 Ford Ranchero GT 428 Cobra Jet was Ford's answer to why not both. With a 428 cubic inch Cobra Jet V8 under the hood, this Ranchero laid down 335 horsepower and could tackle the quarter mile in a blistering 14.4 seconds. Faster than many cars, it gave pickups a cool factor they'd never had before. Only a handful of Rancheros came equipped with a Cobra Jet, making them extremely rare. Originally priced at $3,200, these sleepers now command serious cash. Recent auctions, like Meacham, have seen them hit $50,000 or more. Next up at number 78 is the 1969 Mercury Marauder X100 429. The 1969 Marauder X100 was a bold statement from Ford's luxury division, blending performance with upscale features. Its 429 cubic inch V8 engine delivered 360 horsepower, enabling a quarter mile time of approximately 15 seconds, which was competitive for its class. Mercury produced around 5,635 units of the Marauder X100 in 1969, making them hard to find today. The car's initial price was about $4,000. In recent years, well-maintained units have sold for over $45,000 at auctions like Meacham. At number 77 is the 1966 Ford Fairlane GT390. When Ford brought out the 1966 Fairlane GT390, It wasn't just another full-size muscle car. It was Ford's statement. With a 390 cubic inch V8 engine pushing out 335 horsepower, it was made for speed and power. The Fairlane GT could cut through the quarter mile in just 15.9 seconds, solidly keeping up with the likes of the Chevelle and GTO. Back in the day, it sold for $2,800, which was a fair deal for anyone wanting power on a budget. Only about 4,327 Fairlane GT390 units were made, so finding one today is like stumbling onto a gem. These days, expect to pay anywhere from $35,000 to $50,000, depending on the condition. Moving on to 76 is the 1968 Buick Skylark GS 400. The 1968 Buick Skylark GS 400 is a car that still gives off chills for muscle car lovers. It had that raw power thanks to its 400 cubic inch V8 cranking out 340 horsepower. This car didn't just look cool, it launched off the line and hit the quarter mile in 15.8 seconds. Buick built this beast to show it could hang with the big boys, the Mustangs, Camaros, and Chargers. But it wasn't just a pretty face either. With a price tag of around $3,100 at the time, the 68 Skylark GS 400 was a steal for performance. In 68, Buick produced 2,454 GS 400 convertibles and 10,743 GS 400 sport coupes, and finding one today that's well kept isn't easy, but expensive, anywhere between $30,000 to $45,000, depending on the condition. The number 75 position goes to the 1969 Chevrolet Impala Z11. In 69, Chevy snuck muscle into the Impala lineup with the Z11 package, a big car that hit a big surprise. 427 cubic inch V8 making 390 horsepower. This full-size monster could run a 14.5 second quarter mile, keeping up with smaller Chevys like the Chevelle SS. The Z11 wasn't flashy, but it could shock competitors who underestimated its size. While it isn't clear how many Chevy Impala Z11s were made, these sleepers did come with a sticker price of $3,600 and now sell for upwards of $50,000 when they show up. Sliding in at number 74 is the 1968 Oldsmobile Cutlass 442 W30. In 68, Oldsmobile turned heads with the 442 W30, proving they meant business in the muscle game. The W30 package gave you functional red fender scoops and a 400 cubic inch V8 pushing 360 horsepower, capable of a quarter mile sprint in 14.1 seconds. It could outpace even a GTO on the strip. Back then, it was about $3,400 brand new. But with only around 5,142 W30 convertible models made, it's become a rarity. Today, it is valued at around $51,350. At number 73 is the 1970 Mercury Cougar Eliminator 428 CJ. The Eliminator was Mercury's way of giving the Mustang a little sibling rivalry. With a 428 Cobra Jet V8 producing 335 horsepower, it wasn't just a show pony. It was a full-fledged muscle car. Its quarter-mile time of 14.8 seconds made it quick, though not the quickest in its class. This car was about balance, performance, luxury, and looks. The Eliminator package added a spoiler, hood scoop, and eye-popping colors like competition orange. Less than 2,300 were built, and at $3,800 new, it was a solid deal. Today, you need deep pockets. Clean examples easily fetch $60,000 or more. One recently changed hands for $62,500. Coming in at number 72 is the 1966 Chevrolet Biscayne L79. The Biscayne was Chevy's no-frills fleet car, but the L79 package made it a street killer in disguise. With a 327 small block pushing 350 horsepower, this lightweight Biscayne tore up the quarter mile in 14.5 seconds. It was faster than many big block cars because it didn't carry any unnecessary weight. No power windows or fancy trim, just muscle where it mattered. Few buyers optioned the L79, so production numbers are incredibly low. It sold for about $2,500 new, and these sleepers now pull $40,000 to $60,000 for clean examples. At number 71 is the 1970 Chevrolet Kingswood Estate 454 LS5. Station wagons and muscle cars rarely mix, but Chevy's Kingwood Estate 454 LS5 threw that rulebook out the window. Packing a 454 cubic inch LS5 V8 under the hood, it pumped out 390 horsepower and ran the quarter mile in a surprising 14.7 seconds. This wagon could haul both the kids and the mail. It was a family sleeper that could shame Camaros and Mopars off the line. Only a handful of LS5-equipped Kingswood exist today, making it one of the rarest muscle cars. Priced around $4,000 back then, you're looking at $60,000 or more for a clean survivor. The number 70 spot goes to the 1963 Studebaker Avanti R2. The 1963 Studebaker Avanti R2 was a wild card in a conservative decade. Designed by Raymond Loewy, this fiberglass-bodied beauty looked futuristic, and it had the performance to match. The supercharged 289 cubic inch V8 threw down 290 horsepower, letting the R2 hit a blistering quarter-mile time of 14.9 seconds. Faster than a Corvette? You bet. This was Studebaker's shot at the big leagues, and they nailed it. It wasn't just speed though. With a unique design and advanced features like front disc brakes, the Avanti was ahead of its time. Around 1,883 R2 models were ever built, making them incredibly rare. Priced around $4,500 when new, you'd have to shell out upwards of $60,000 for one today, according to Haggerty. At number 69 is the 1970 Dodge Charger SE 440 Magnum. The 70 Charger SE with the 440 Magnum was Mopar muscle with attitude and precision. Under the hood sat a 440 cubic inch big block pushing 375 horsepower, churning out a massive 480 pounds of torque. Plenty to shred tires and humble rivals at the strip. Matched with a heavy-duty 727 TorqueFlite transmission, it nailed the quarter mile in 14.3 seconds, leaving even some Hemis second-guessing. The SE trim brought unique luxury options like wood grain accents and plush upholstery, but performance was still front and center. Power-assisted brakes, heavy-duty suspension, and that unmistakable Coke bottle design made this Charger both a bruiser and a beauty. Originally sold for $3,700, these beasts now fetch north of $60,000. Next, at number 68 is the 1968 Chevrolet Nova SS. In 1968, Chevrolet took the Nova to new heights by shoving the L78 396 cubic inch big block V8 under its hood. Rated at a ferocious 375 horsepower, this engine turned a lightweight Nova SS into a quarter-mile bruiser, clocking a solid 14.7 second time. What made the Nova stand out wasn't its flashy design or luxury features. It was pure, unfiltered performance. At just over 3,000 pounds, the Nova SS 396 had an unbeatable power-to-weight ratio, making it quicker off the line than heavier muscle cars like the 1970 Mercury Cougar Eliminator. Priced at an affordable $2,800 when new, a well-preserved or fully restored 68 Nova SS sold for $62,000 at a Meacham auction in Indianapolis. The 1967 Ford Fairlane 390 GT slots in at number 67. The 1967 Ford Fairlane 390 GT made waves in the muscle car world when it hit the streets. Ford decided to up their game that year, giving the Fairlane a 390 cubic inch V8 engine that put out 320 horsepower. With that kind of power, it was built for performance, and it didn't disappoint. The 390 GT could cover the quarter mile in around 14.9 seconds, faster than Chevrolet Camaro and Pontiac Firebird of the same era. Ford made a handful of these beasts in 1967, but the Fairlane 390 GT remains a rare find today. When it was first introduced, it came with a price tag of about $2,600, offering serious bang for your buck. Today, if you're lucky enough to find one in good condition, expect to shell out anywhere between $40,000 and $60,000. Next, at number 66, is the 1969 Chevrolet Caprice 427. The 1969 Chevrolet Caprice 427 is a classic muscle car that blends the best of both worlds, power and performance. Chevy dropped a monster 427 cubic inch V8 under the hood, pushing out 385 horsepower. This big, bold sedan wasn't just about looks, it was about straight up muscle. The Caprice 427 could rip through the quarter mile in less than 15 seconds, which was serious business in that era, beating cars like the Ford Galaxie 500 and Plymouth Fury. While Chevrolet produced thousands of Caprices, only a select few came with the 427 engine. Back in 1969, the Caprice 427 carried a price tag of about $3,200. Fast forward to today, and you're looking at a price range of $40,000 to $70,000. The 1970 Mercury Cyclone spoiler claims the number 65 position. The 1970 Mercury Cyclone spoiler, equipped with a formidable 429 Super Cobra jet engine, epitomized Mercury's commitment to high-performance muscle cars. 429 SCJ, featuring 11.3 to 1 compression ratio and a functional ram air induction system, was conservatively rated at 370 horsepower and a massive 450 pounds of torque. This powerhouse propelled the Cyclone spoiler from 0 to 60 in approximately 6.2 seconds, completing the quarter mile in 14.1 seconds at 100 miles per hour. Originally priced around $4,300, Cyclone spoiler offered exceptional value for its performance capabilities. A fully restored 1970 Cyclone 429 in competition orange was listed for $70,000. Coming in at number 64 is the 1965 Plymouth Satellite 426. In 1965, Plymouth dropped a bomb on the muscle car world with the Satellite 426. That big block 426 cubic inch V8 wasn't shy about flexing its 365 horses, launching the Satellite to a quarter mile time of 14.5 seconds. Faster than most Fords and Chevys of its time, this Mopar machine made a name for itself on the strip. The Satellite's clean lines and no-nonsense look matched its performance. With only a few thousand 426 equipped models made, it's a rare gem today. Originally priced around $3,200, they've skyrocketed in value. Auctions like Barrett-Jackson have seen these beauties pull $65,000 or more. Up next, at number 63, is the 1970 Ford Torino Cobra 429 SCJ. The 1970 Ford Torino Cobra 429 SCJ is a high-performance muscle car, featuring the Super Cobra Jet engine, which upgraded the regular 429 Cobra Jet with an array of performance accessories. This 70 Torino Cobra 429 SCJ with a drag pack was quick, 0 to 60 in about 5.5 seconds, and it screamed through the quarter mile in just over 13.7 seconds at 106 miles per hour. Ford built a total of 7,675 Torino Cobras for the 1970 model year. 1,475 of them had the 429 SCJ drag pack. In 1970, 429 SCJ would set you back roughly $4,296.20. Come today, we've seen them fly off the shelves for a whopping $40,000 to $65,000. Next up, at number 62, is the 1971 Pontiac Le Mans Sport 455 HO. In 1971, Pontiac gave the Le Mans Sport a serious upgrade with the 455 HO engine. That 455 cubic inch monster cranked out 335 net horsepower and could scream through the quarter mile in 14.2 seconds. Only a limited number of 455 HO Le Mans models were produced, making them hard to find today. Initially priced around $3,200, these cars now fetch between $50,000 and $70,000 at auctions like Barrett-Jackson. With GTO level power and a lower price tag back then, the Le Mans Sport 455 HO is an underappreciated muscle car hero. Coming in at number 60 is the 1971 Plymouth Satellite Sebring Plus 440. 1971, when Plymouth still had some bite left in the muscle car game. Satellite Sebring Plus might sound like a couch in your grandma's living room, but slap that 440 cubic inch V8 under the hood and you've got a bruiser. Packing 370 horsepower and a quarter mile time of 14.1 seconds at 100 miles per hour, it could leave cars like the 71 Monte Carlo SS 454 eating dust. Fewer than 5,500 Satellite Sebring Plus models rolled out with the 440 option, making it a rare gem. Sticker price? Around $3,400 in 1971. Fast forward, and a mint example fetched $70,000 at a Meacham auction in 2023. The 1969 Plymouth Fury 3 440 comes in at the number 59 position. The 1969 Plymouth Fury 3 440 was the car that made muscle car enthusiasts take notice. Plymouth, known for its bold designs, made a statement with this one, packing a 440 cubic inch V8 that churned out 375 horsepower. The Fury 3 wasn't just about size. It was built for performance. With a quarter mile time of around 14.8 seconds, this full-size muscle car outpaced many rivals like the Chevrolet Impala SS and even some performance-oriented sedans of the time. Plymouth only produced 61 Fury 3 440 models, making it a rare gem for collectors today. Back in '69, the price tag was about $3,200, a solid deal for the power and performance it delivered. These days, you're looking at a price range of $30,000 to $50,000 for a well-maintained example. At 58 is the 1969 Ford XL GT 429. The 1969 Ford XL GT 429 combined full-size comfort with muscle car attitude. Beneath its long hood was a 429 Cobra Jet V8, cranking out 370 horsepower. This heavyweight hustled down the quarter mile in 13.9 seconds, keeping pace with lighter, more nimble cars like the Firebird Trans Am. What set the XL GT apart was its dual personality. Blistering speed matched with upscale comfort. It featured sleek, full-size lines, hideaway headlights, and GT-specific badges, a heavy-duty suspension, front disc brakes, offering a blend of style and menace. Ford built fewer than 500 XL GTs, making it a rare blend of luxury and performance. Back in '69, you could take one home for $3,500. Now, these sleeper muscle cars fetch $60,000 or more, depending on condition. 1971 Dodge Demon 340 takes the 57th spot. The 1971 Dodge Demon 340 was a pint-sized powerhouse in the Mopar lineup. With its 340 cubic inch V8 streaming 275 horsepower, this compact muscle mill could sprint a quarter mile in 16.2 seconds, outpacing many heavier muscle cars. Its combination of performance and aggressive branding made it a hit with younger enthusiasts. Dodge sold about 10,000 Demons that year, but finding an original 340 model today is a challenge due to their reputation as street racers. When new, the Demon 340 carried a $3,000 price tag. Recently, a restored example went for $62,000 at Barrett Jackson's Scottsdale auction. Next, at 56, is the 1968 Pontiac Firebird 400 HO. The 1968 Pontiac Firebird 400 HO is the muscle car that packed a punch while still looking drop-dead gorgeous. With its aggressive split grille and roaring 400 HO V8 engine, this Firebird produced a fiery 335 horsepower and 430 pounds of torque. It flew down the quarter mile in a blistering 14.2 seconds at 101 miles per hour, leaving plenty of competition in the dust. The 1968 model year saw Pontiac refine the suspension for better handling, making it more than just a straight-line speedster. Pontiac built around 108,000 Firebirds that year, but the 400 HO was a more exclusive option. At $3,300 new, this was a serious bargain for all that power. Today, a pristine example commands roughly $60,000, with a recent auction sale at $62,000. The 1969 Dodge Dart GTS 340 takes the number 55 position. The 1969 Dodge Dart GTS packed big muscle into a small package, making it a sleeper hit among enthusiasts. The star of the lineup was the high-octane 340 cubic inch V8 engine, pumping out a stout 275 horsepower. This lightweight powerhouse could scorch the quarter mile in about 14.5 seconds, putting cars like the Pontiac Firebird 350 on notice. Dodge built 6,285 hardtop and 417 convertible 1969 Dodge Dart GTS 340s in 1969. The original price? A modest $3,000 or so, making it accessible to younger buyers chasing speed. Today, the 1969 Dart GTS 340 is a coveted classic. At a Barrett Jackson auction in January 2020, a well-kept 1969 Dodge Dart GTS fetched $45,000. Next up, at 54, is the 1965 Chevrolet Impala SS 396. The 65 Impala SS 396. Chevy's way of saying, I've got power and style. The Super Sport version featured the legendary 396 cubic inch turbojet V8. It cranked out 325 horsepower. It wasn't just good looking. The 65 Impala SS 396 could haul down the quarter mile in 15.2 seconds, leaving plenty of competition in its rearview mirror. What made the SS 396 special? Chevy sold nearly 243,000 Impala SS models in 1965, but few were ordered with the big block 396. Originally priced at around $3,100, it was an affordable powerhouse. Now, according to Meacham, a well-kept example can fetch between $35,000 and $55,000. At 53, we have the 1971 Chevrolet Caprice 454. Luxury met muscle in the 1971 Chevrolet Caprice 454, a sleeper that could smoke the tires and carry your family. With a massive 454 cubic inch V8 under the hood, this heavy hitter churned out 365 horsepower and hustled down the quarter mile in a swift 14.2 seconds at 96 miles per hour. Not bad for a land yacht. The Caprice was Chevy's flagship sedan, but add the LS5 engine and you had a velvet glove hiding an iron fist. It came with all the bells and whistles, AC, power windows, and a ride smooth enough for Sunday cruises. Priced at $4,200 in 1971, these weren't cheap. Today, a clean Caprice 454 will set you back around $40,000, with rare finds fetching upwards of $55,000. The Mercury Cyclone CJ428 is the number 52 pick. In 1968, Mercury was ready to step up and show they could play in the muscle car game. Enter the Cyclone CJ428, a car built for serious performance. Packing a 428 cubic inch V8 that pushed out 335 horsepower, this beast had all the power you'd need to crush the streets. What made it stand out? With a heavy-duty suspension and drag strip-ready specs, this muscle car wasn't just about looks. It was about raw power. It could blast through the quarter mile in around 13 seconds at 105 miles per hour and hit 0 to 60 in about 6 seconds. Mercury didn't make many of these, with production figures hovering around 2,000 units. Back in '68, you could snag one for around $3,200. Today, you'll find Cyclone CJ428s fetching anywhere from $50,000 to $70,000 at top auctions like Meacham and Barrett-Jackson, making it a serious collector's car. At number 51 comes the 1969 Dodge Charger SE 440 Magnum. Meet the 1969 Dodge Charger SE 440 Magnum, a bona fide legend from the Muscle Car Academy. This car turned heads everywhere with its sleek Coke bottle design and iconic hidden headlights. Powered by the beastly 440 Magnum V8 cranking out 375 horsepower, this Charger thundered down the quarter mile in just 13.9 seconds at 104 miles per hour. What truly set this beauty apart was its mix of raw power and luxury, hence the special edition badge. Only 20,100 SE models were produced, making it a rare find now. Back in '69, you could snag one of these for about $3,800. Today, expect to shell out more than $70,000 if you're lucky enough to find one in mint condition. At number 50 is the 1969 Chevrolet Impala SS 409. The '69 Chevrolet Impala SS was a bold entry in the muscle car market, blending full-size comfort with raw power. This model could be optioned with various engines, but the standout was a 427 cubic inch V8, which delivered a potent 390 horsepower. With this setup, the Impala SS roared down the quarter mile in just about 14.4 seconds, making it a serious contender against rivals like the Dodge Charger RT. Chevrolet built only 2,455 units of the Impala SS in '69, marking its final year as a standalone super sport trim. Originally priced around $3,600, surviving examples of the '69 Impala SS sell for roughly $72,000 today. Coming in at number 49 is the 1970 Chevrolet Monte Carlo SS 454. The 1970 Monte Carlo SS 454 was Chevrolet's answer to the growing demand for luxury muscle. Under its elongated hood resided a formidable 454 cubic inch V8 engine, churning out 360 horsepower and a massive 500 pounds of torque. This powerhouse could sprint down the quarter mile in approximately 14.2 seconds, edging out rivals like the Ford Torino Cobra. Chevrolet produced around 3,823 units of the SS 454 in 1970, making it a relatively rare gem. At launch, the Monte Carlo SS 454 had a starting price near $3,700. Today, collectors are willing to shell out top dollar for pristine examples. One recently sold for $77,000 at a Meacham auction. Next, at number 48, is the 1966 Oldsmobile 442 W30. 1966 was a game changer for Oldsmobile, as the year marked a shift in the company's focus from traditional, luxury-oriented vehicles to high-performance muscle cars. With the release of the 442 W30, Oldsmobile showcased that it could compete in the muscle car market, alongside brands like Chevrolet, Ford, and Pontiac. Packing a 400 cubic inch V8, the 442 W30 Powerhouse cranked out 360 horsepower, making it one of the most powerful muscle cars on the road. The W30 package, with its higher performance air cleaner, special camshaft, and heavy-duty suspension, turned heads and left the competition in the dust. It could smoke the quarter mile in about 13.5 seconds at 105 miles per hour and go from 0 to 60 in just over 6 seconds. Impressive for 1966. Only 3,000 W30 models were built, making it a rare gem for collectors today. Back then, it cost around $3,000, but these days, you'll be looking at a lot more than $70,000. At number 47 is the 1970 Mercury Cougar Eliminator Boss. The 1970 Mercury Cougar Eliminator Boss 429 was built to bring performance and style together, and it didn't disappoint. It packed a massive 429 cubic inch V8 under the hood, producing a thrilling 375 horsepower, allowing it to spring down the quarter mile in 13.2 seconds, faster than some of the more famous muscle cars like the Chevelle SS396. Back in 1970, the price tag was a hefty $3,500. Fast forward to today, and you'll be looking at paying a premium, somewhere between $60,000 and $70,000. The 1965 Pontiac GTO 389 Tri-Power is at the number 46 slot. The 65 GTO, often hailed as the grandfather of muscle cars. This beast was equipped with a 389 cubic inch V8 engine featuring the iconic Tri-Power setup. 3 two-barrel carburetors pushing out a robust 360 horsepower. Back in the day, it could rip through the quarter mile in around 14.5 seconds, leaving many competitors in the dust. Pontiac produced approximately 75,352 GTOs in 1965, with the Tri-Power being a sought-after option. When it first hit the showroom floor, the GTO had a base price of about $2,800. Fast forward to today, and these classics have appreciated significantly. For instance, a well-preserved 65 GTO recently fetched $82,500 at a Barrett-Jackson auction. Number 45 goes to the 1970 AMC Rebel Machine 390. Back in 1970, AMC threw down the gauntlet with this loud, proud red, white, and blue beast. The Rebel Machine wasn't just about making noise. It was about making statements, both on the strip and the street. With a 390 cubic inch V8 pumping out 340 horsepower and 430 pounds of torque, it laid down a quarter mile time of 14.4 seconds at 99 miles per hour. A number that gave GTOs and 442s something to chew on. Only 2,326 Rebel machines rolled off the line, making this rare piece of Americana an absolute collector's item. Back in the day, it was yours for $3,475, a steal compared to today's prices, somewhere in the range of $50,000 to $80,000. Next, at number 44 is the 1969 Plymouth Barracuda 440. The 1969 Plymouth Barracuda 440 was all guts, no gimmick. tailor-made for muscle car purists craving raw, unfiltered power. Loaded with the 440 Super Commando V8, the same power mill that proved its salt in larger Mopar cars like the Dodge Challenger and Plymouth GTX, the 69 Barracuda showcased a wild 375 horsepower and 480 pounds of torque, turning this lightweight coupe into a straight-line missile. It went from 0 to 60 in about 5.5 seconds and took the quarter mile in at about 13.39 seconds. The 69 Barracuda gave heavier cars like the Chevelle SS 396 and GTO a run for their money. Plymouth built 360 Barracudas with the 440 in 1969, adding to its mystique. Originally priced around $3,300, these sleepers now fetch upwards of $80,000 at auctions like Meacham. The 1969 Mercury Cyclone CJ 428 is my pick for number 43. The 1969 Mercury Cyclone CJ 428 was Mercury's heavy hitter in the muscle car wars. Beneath its sleek and aggressive lines lay the legendary 428 Cobra Jet V8, boasting 335 horsepower. But we all know it made more. Paired with a functional hood scoop and heavy-duty suspension, the 69 Cyclone CJ 428 was built to devour the competition on the street and the strip. It blazed through the quarter mile in roughly 13.8 seconds, proving it could run with the best of them. Unlike its cousin, the Ford Torino, the Cyclone CJ had a style of its own, with its sharp front end and distinctive fastback design. Mercury made fewer than 3,000 Cyclone CJs that year, adding to its rarity. Priced at just over $3,400 when new, these cars now command $80,000 or more at auction houses. At 42 is the 1967 Chevrolet Chevelle Malibu SS 396. The 1967 Chevrolet Malibu SS 396 is an iconic muscle car that combined power and style in a way few could match. Under the hood, it housed a 396 cubic inch V8 engine, producing 325 horsepower and 360 pounds of torque. With a 0 to 60 time of around 7 seconds and a quarter mile time of 14.5 seconds, it was faster than many of its contemporaries, including the Ford Mustang GT. Chevrolet produced approximately 867 Malibu SS 396 models in 1967, testament to its popularity and performance. When it debuted, the car had a price tag of about $2,700, making it an accessible yet powerful option for enthusiasts. Now, the SS 396 commands anywhere from $40,000 to $80,000, depending on its condition. Next, at number 41, we've got the 1971 Pontiac Le Mans Sport 455 HO. The 1971 Pontiac Le Mans Sport 455 HO didn't just talk the talk, it walked the walk. Beneath the hood sat a monster 455 HO V8 with 335 horsepower and a thundering 480 pounds of torque. This mid-sized muscle contender slipped through the quarter mile in 14.5 seconds at 98 miles per hour, proving it could hang with GTOs and Chevelles. With its Endura nose and sporty stripes, the Le Mans Sport had the looks to match its muscle. Pontiac sold just 1,669 of the 455 HO variants, making it a rare gem. Originally priced at around $3,600, today you're looking at a collector's item worth nearly $80,000. At number 40 is the iconic 1965 Ford Galaxie 500 R Code 427. The Ford Galaxie 500 R Code 427 was built to dominate, and boy, did it ever. It came with Ford's wild 427 cubic inch V8 engine under the hood, pushing 425 horsepower. This bad boy could smash the quarter mile in a blazing 13.4 seconds, putting it in the league of the top-tier muscle cars of its day. The Galaxie 500 was known for its smooth ride, but don't let that fool you. Underneath, it had a racing pedigree that made it an absolute powerhouse. Ford only made about 2,000 of these, and it had a price tag of about $3,200 when it hit dealerships. Today, you can expect to fork out anywhere between $60,000 to $80,000 for a restored version, with one recently auctioned for $75,000 at Barrett-Jackson. Next, at number 39 is the 1969 AMC AMX 390 Go package. The 1969 AMC AMX 390 Go package was American Motors' underdog supercar that left jaws dropping at red lights. With a potent 390 cubic inch V8 cranking out 315 horsepower, this lightweight two-seater rocketed through the quarter mile in 13.9 seconds at 105 miles per hour, beating plenty of big-name V8 muscle. Add the Go package featuring power disc brakes, upgraded suspension, and a twin-scoop hood, and you have a street predator. Priced around $3,300 in 1969, the AMX was a steal. Only 8,293 units rolled off the line that year. Today, you'll pay upwards of $70,000 for one, with a rare Go package model commanding $85,000. At number 38 is the 1967 Dodge Coronet WO23 Superstock. The 1967 Dodge Coronet WO23 Superstock was a factory-built drag racing car designed to dominate NHRA Superstock classes. Chrysler produced approximately 55 units, each equipped with a 426 cubic inch Hemi V8 engine, a lightweight body, and a stripped-down interior to meet NHRA regulations. These cars were engineered for maximum performance, featuring a 4-speed manual transmission and a 4.10-to-1 rear axle ratio, enabling them to achieve mid-11-second quarter miles. Originally, the WO23 Superstock Coronet was priced at $3,027, positioning it as Dodge's low-price muscle car. A 1967 Dodge Hemi Coronet Superstock sold recently for $90,000. Next, at 37 is the 1969 AMC Hearst SC Rambler. The 1969 AMC Hearst SC Rambler was a muscle car with an attitude. A collaboration between AMC and the legendary Hearst, it came out swinging with a 390 cubic inch V8 cranking out 315 horsepower, and it made waves by being a compact muscle car that could hold its own with the big dogs of the era. It wasn't the fastest in terms of quarter mile time at 14.1 seconds, but it was a surprise punch. AMC only produced 1,512 of these little monsters, and at the time, they were priced around $3,300. The highest price paid for a 1969 AMC Hearst SC Rambler at auction in the last 3 years was $93,500. We've got the 1969 Dodge Super Bee 6-pack 440 at the 36th spot. The 69 Dodge Super Bee 6-pack was built for one purpose: domination. Dodge rolled out the 6-pack option that year, giving the Super Bee a 440 cubic inch V8 with 3 two-barrel carburetors, allowing it to deliver a ferocious 390 horsepower and make its way down the quarter mile in under 15 seconds. The Super Bee was quicker than most of its muscle car rivals, including the Pontiac GTO and Chevrolet Camaro SS. Its aggressive hood scoops, bold graphics, and Scat Pack badging screen performance. Dodge produced 1,907 Super Bee 6-pack 440 models, ensuring its rarity today. Originally priced around $3,700, it was a high-performance option in a muscle car market filled with choices. Today, depending on condition, a restored example can sell for anywhere between $60,000 and $100,000. Coming in at number 35 is the 1966 Ford Galaxie 7-liter 428. The 1966 Ford Galaxie 7-liter was Ford's answer to big block dominance. With its 428 cubic inch V8 churning out 345 horsepower, this full-size muscle car didn't mess around. It blasted through the quarter mile in 15.5 seconds at 91 miles per hour, remarkable for a car of its size. The 7-liter badge and sleek fastback design gave it a unique identity in Ford's lineup. Ford sold only 11,000 of these beasts, making it a rare piece of muscle car history. Priced at $3,700 when new, the average price of a Galaxie 7-liter was $100,000 in the last 3 years. The 1971 Ford Mustang Boss 351 claims the 34th spot. The 1971 Ford Mustang Boss 351 was the ultimate sleeper in the Mustang lineup, offering a perfect mix of power, style, and agility. Beneath the hood, the high-revving 351 Cleveland V8 cranked out a factory-rated 330 horsepower. Coupled with a close-ratio 4-speed manual transmission, competition-ready Hurst shifter, and 3.91-to-1 rear axle, the 71 Boss 351 shredded the quarter mile in a respectable 14.2 seconds, holding its ground against big block beasts of the era. Ford only produced 1,806 of these mid-weight marvels in 1971, making it a rare sight then, and a prized collector's car today. Originally priced around $4,200, the Boss 351 has since gained iconic status, with pristine models commanding over $100,000 in modern muscle car markets. Next, at 33, is the 1973 Pontiac Trans Am SD 455. The 73 Trans Am SD 455 wasn't just any muscle car. It was Pontiac's big, bold statement during the gas crisis era when others were pulling back. This beast packed a Super Duty 455 V8 pumping out 290 underrated horses, though real tests showed closer to 370 horsepower. It stormed the quarter mile in 13.7 seconds, making it faster than many big block rivals of its time. Only 252 were ever built, making this a rare bird among Trans Ams. When new, it sold for around $4,500. But today, a clean SD 455 commands well over $100,000 at auction. Up next, at the number 32 spot, is the 1970 Dodge Challenger TA 346 pack. The 1970 Dodge Challenger TA was built to race, plain and simple. With its 346-pack V8, it pushed out 290 horsepower. Not just another pony car, the TA was designed for both speed and handling. It dropped the quarter mile in 16 seconds flat, faster than most competitors at the time. What made it special? It was part of Dodge's Trans Am racing series, hence the TA badge. With only 2,400 of these beauties made, it's one of the rarest muscle cars found. It came with a $3,700 sticker price, but it's now a high-demand collector's item, asking more than $100,000 under the hammer. At number 31 is the 1970 Chevrolet Chevelle SS454 LS6. 1970, the peak of muscle car madness, gave us the Chevelle SS454 LS6. Gas was cheap, horsepower ruled, and Chevy wasn't playing around. This beast packed a 454 cubic inch V8, punching out a brutal 450 horsepower on paper, but insiders know it pushed closer to 500. The 70 SS 454 LS6 hit 60 miles per hour in a pavement-pounding 5.4 seconds and crushed the quarter mile in 13.1 seconds at 108 miles per hour. A total of 4,475 LS6s were built, making them highly sought after by collectors. Back in 1970, you'd shell out $3,800 to park one in your driveway. Today, it's a collector's grail. At Meacham Auctions in 2022, one went for over $100,000. We've got the 1969 Dodge Coronet RT 440 pack at number 30. A six-pack didn't just refer to coolers in 1969. It meant 3 Holley 2-barrel carbs feeding the 440 Magnum engine, cranking out a fierce 390 horsepower in the Dodge Coronet RT 440 pack. Dodge designed this pure, unadulterated classic American beast to make headlines, and it did, with 0 to 60 in just under 6 seconds, and quarter miles flying by at around 13.7 seconds. Built to take over the strip and the streets, the 1969 Coronet RT combined serious performance with a clean, understated look that screamed business. Almost all copies of the 1969 Coronet RT came with a base engine, the 375 horsepower 440 Magnum, making them rare in today's world. Originally priced at about $3,700, these machines now turn heads at auctions, often selling for upwards of $100,000 for a well-maintained unit. Making it to the number 29th position is the 1969 Shelby GT350 Fastback. The GT350 wasn't just a Mustang, it was a Shelby, and that name alone meant it was built to dominate. The 351 cubic inch Windsor V8 under the hood delivered 290 horsepower, and while not as wild as the GT500, it could still run a respectable 14.7 second quarter mile. If you were a Shelby fan in the late 60s, the GT350 was the perfect mix of style, speed, and exclusivity. Shelby made just over 1,000 of these fastbacks in 1969, making them highly collectible. Originally priced at $4,500, these beauties now trade hands for $800,000 to $100,000. At the 28th position is the 1968 Chevrolet Biscayne L72 427. For those who like their muscle cars stripped down and mean, the 1968 Chevrolet Biscayne L72 427 was the ultimate sleeper. No badges, no chrome, just pure go-fast attitude. The design followed Chevrolet's no-nonsense approach, with clean lines and an understated grille, giving no hint to the firepower within. With its L72 427 cubic inch V8 pushing 425 horsepower, this bare-bones machine was built for the strip. It clocked the quarter mile in roughly 13.9 seconds, leaving flashier cars like the Dodge Charger 500 at the start. Fewer than 168 Chevrolet Biscayne L72 427 sleepers were produced, making them a unicorn among muscle cars. Price? A cool $2,900 from the factory line. Today, these under-the-radar racers can sell for more than a whopping $100,000. Next up at number 27 is the 1969 Ford Torino Talladega 428 Cobra Jet. If you're talking about NASCAR-inspired street machines, the 1969 Ford Torino Talladega was the king of the hill. Named after the legendary racetrack, this aerodynamic beast packed the 428 Cobra Jet engine under its hood, cranking out 335 horsepower. The Talladega was engineered for speed with its sleek nose and recessed grille, features designed to cut through the air like a knife. Hitting the quarter mile in just under 14 seconds, it left competitors like the Mercury Cyclone CJ gasping for air. Ford produced 754 Talladegas that year, making them as rare as they were fast. In '69, the Talladega came with a $3,500 sticker price. Today, expect to shell out upwards of $150,000 at auctions like Meacham. Next up, at number 26, is the 1965 Chevrolet Corvette 396. The 1965 Chevrolet Corvette 396 marked the first year the Vette got big block power. Its 396 cubic inch V8 packed 425 horsepower, catapulting it down the quarter mile in 14.1 seconds at 104 miles per hour. The 65 Vette's aggressive styling and brute power make it a favorite among enthusiasts who remember when American sports cars truly ruled the roads. Faster than many contemporaries, it showed Chevy wasn't messing around. With a starting price of $4,106, it was a high-performance bargain. Chevy built 2,157 Corvettes with a 396 engine, making them a rare gem today. Under the hammer, these beauties can now sell for over $150,000. We've got the 1970 Buick GSX Stage 1 in the number 25 position. In 1970, Buick stepped out of its comfort zone and threw down with the GSX Stage 1, proving it could bring muscle to the streets without sacrificing style. With a massive 455 cubic inch V8 rated at 360 horsepower, more like 400 ponies on the street, and a monstrous 510 pounds of torque, this machine left its mark in the horsepower wars. Billed as the baddest Buick ever, the GSX Stage 1 could hit 60 miles per hour in just 5.5 seconds and run the quarter mile in 13.8 seconds at 105.5 miles per hour, making it one of the quickest cars of its day. Buick built 478 GSX Stage 1s, splitting them between Apollo white and Saturn yellow paint schemes that screamed attitude. Priced around $4,800 in its prime, GSX Stage 1s now pull six figures under the hammer. At Meacham in 2023, a pristine example fetched over $152,000. At number 24 is the 1969 Pontiac Firebird Trans Am 400 Ram Air 4. The 1969 Pontiac Firebird Trans Am 400 Ram Air 4 was Pontiac's ultimate blend of style, speed, and engineering prowess. Debuting as part of the first-gen Firebird lineup, this rare Trans Am packed a high-compression 400 cubic inch Ram Air 4 V8 that cranked out an underrated 345 horsepower. With a quarter-mile time of 13.9 seconds, it left rivals like the Mercury Cyclone CJ struggling to keep pace. The 69 Trans Am stood out with its white and blue paint scheme, iconic stripes, and functional air scoops. The Ram Air 4 package for the 1969 Pontiac Firebird Trans Am added approximately $558 to the car's base price, bringing the starting cost to around $4,000. A 1969 Pontiac Firebird 400 Ram Air 4 in good condition with average specs on this day is around $164,500. The 1968 Ford Mustang 428 Cobra Jet is our number 23 pick. The 1968 Ford Mustang 428 Cobra Jet, the pony that turned the Mustang into a street brawler. Dropping in Ford's 428 Cobra Jet V8 with 335 horsepower, more like 400 plus, this beast hit the quarter mile in a blistering 13.5 seconds at 105 miles per hour, outrunning some serious contenders like the Camaro Z28 and the Plymouth Roadrunner. Unveiled during the 1968 NHRA Winter Nationals, where it mopped the floor with the competition, the Cobra Jet wasn't just a car, it was a statement. In '68, you'd shell out about $3,500 for one of these monsters. Today, a good example can fetch upwards of $175,000, with one auctioning for $165,000 just last year. The number 22 slot goes to the 1968 Mercury Cougar GTE 427. The 1968 Mercury Cougar GTE 427 wasn't just a car. It was Mercury's way of flexing serious muscle wrapped in high-end style. At its heart was the 427 cubic inch V8, a true warrior producing 390 horsepower. Mercury gave the Cougar GTE unique styling cues like hidden headlights and upscale trim, setting it apart from the Mustang crowd. It arrived suited with a heavy-duty suspension, performance rear gearing, and upgraded brakes, allowing the Cougar GTE 427 to sprint the quarter mile in 14.1 seconds and rival lighter, less luxurious competitors like the Boss 351. Mercury produced 394 GTEs with the 427 and sold them for a steep $4,800 brand new. But today's auction prices for the 1968 Mercury Cougar GTE 427 are north of $175,000. Next up at 21 is the 1970 Dodge Coronet Super Bee 426 Hemi. The 1970 Dodge Coronet Super Bee 426 Hemi was Dodge's bare-knuckle brawler in the muscle car arena. With a roaring 426 cubic inch Hemi tucked under its hood, this beast unleashed 425 horses and dominated the strip with a 14-second flat quarter-mile time. The Super Bee's design added to its punchy persona with bold bumblebee stripe graphics, a functional Ramcharger hood scoop, and a no-nonsense attitude. A no-frills interior kept it focused on performance, while optional touches like a Hurst pistol grip shifter added flair. Dodge produced only 32 of the Hemi-powered Coronet Super Bees that year, making them incredibly rare. The Super Bee was the working man's muscle car, priced at just $3,000 when new. Today, these brute force classics command upwards of $200,000 at auction houses like Barrett-Jackson. The 1970 Dodge Charger 426 Hemi claims the number 20 spot. The The 1970 Dodge Charger 426 Hemi wasn't just another muscle car. It was a statement on wheels. Of the 49,800 Chargers produced that year, only 10,337 came with the high-performance RT package, and out of those, just 124 were equipped with the legendary 426 Hemi. With its iconic Coke bottle curves and a powertrain that can make the pavement tremble, the 70 Dodge Charger 426 Hemi churned out a robust 425 horsepower and slid through the quarter mile in 13.7 seconds, making it faster than rivals like the Pontiac GTO Judge. Dodge also offered a special edition trim that added a touch of luxury to all that muscle, with features like leather bucket seats, wood grain accents, and a sportier vibe. Back in 1970, this muscle horse could be yours for around $4,000, but today it's worth over $200,000. At number 19 is the highly rated 1971 Dodge Challenger RT SE 426 Hemi. The 1971 Dodge Challenger RT SE 426 Hemi stands as a testament to an era when American muscle cars reigned supreme. Under its hood lies the formidable 426 cubic inch Hemi V8 engine, officially rated at 425 horsepower. This powerhouse enabled the Challenger to sprint through the quarter mile in approximately 13.6 seconds at 104 miles per hour, making it one of the fastest cars of its time. The base price for a 1971 Challenger RT was $3,273, with the Hemi option adding a substantial $892, bringing the total to around $4,165, a significant investment at the time. Today, the value of a 1971 Dodge Challenger RT SE 426 Hemi has appreciated considerably and command prices as high as $200,000. Next, at 18, is the 1964 Ford Fairlane Thunderbolt. In '64, Ford wasn't just making cars. They were making racing history with the Fairlane Thunderbolt. This muscle car machine was built to rip the drag strip, thanks to its loaded 427 cubic inch V8 that produced a raw 425 horsepower. Ford toned it down with aluminum body panels and minimal frills, making it lighter and faster than anything else on the road. With that engine, it skated through the quarter mile in just under 11 seconds at about 130 miles per hour, and could hit 0 to 60 in 4.5 seconds. But here's the kicker. Only 100 Thunderbolts were built, so if you got one, you've got something seriously special. When it hit the market, it came in just under $4,000. Fast forward, and these things are going for $200,000 or more at places like Meacham or Barrett-Jackson. At number 17 is the 1963.5 Ford Galaxy 427. The 1963.5 Ford Galaxy is called a half-year model because its fastback roofline debuted mid-production to gain an aerodynamic edge, especially for NASCAR. This sleek aerodynamic design wasn't available in 1962 and was replaced by a revised body style for 1964, making the 1963.5 Galaxy a one-year icon. Of course, the meat and bones is the engine. The dual-quad 427 was rated at 425 ponies, but almost certainly put out more. The engine alone added 21% to the price of a base $2,730 Galaxy. Mated with a top-loader 4-speed manual and a race-tuned suspension, the 1963.5 Galaxy 427 was capable of a 0 to 60 time in just 5.5 seconds and quarter-mile times in the 12 seconds. Initially priced around $3,800, collectors now pay upwards of $200,000 at auctions for this rare and iconic piece of Ford racing history. At number 16 is the 1968 Dodge Charger 426 Hemi. 1968 was the year Dodge decided to dominate both the streets and strip with the Charger 426 Hemi. Featuring a new Coke bottle design and aggressive hidden headlights, the Charger 426 Hemi stole hearts and smoked tires. The 426 cubic inch Hemi V8 cranked out 425 horsepower, but that number was highly underrated. The 68 Charger 426 Hemi hit 60 miles per hour in a blistering 4.8 seconds and tore through the quarter mile in 13.5 seconds at 105 miles per hour. Production numbers were tight. Just 475 Chargers got the legendary Hemi that year, making it a unicorn for collectors. Back in '68, the Charger 426 Hemi strolled in with a sticker price of roughly $3,800. Fast forward to today, and you're looking at over $200,000 at top auctions like Barrett-Jackson and Meacham. The '68 Dodge Dart Hemi Superstock is at number 15. The 1968 Dodge Dart Hemi Superstock, better known as the LO23, was built for one job: dominating the quarter mile. It was stripped of everything unnecessary, from soundproofing to rear seats, but instead loaded with the mighty 426 Hemi rated at 425 horsepower. However, anyone who knows these cars will tell you it was closer to 500 horsepower. With lightweight parts like fiberglass fenders and acid-dipped steel panels, the LO23 ripped through the quarter mile in 10.5 seconds at over 130 miles per hour straight off the lot. Hitting 60 miles per hour felt like being shot out of a cannon, clocking in at roughly 3 seconds. Dodge made just 80 units, all for drag racers ready to line up at the strip. Priced at about $4,000 new, this Dodge compact superstock monster is priced between $170,000 and $200,000 today. Next up, at 14, is the 1970 Dodge Challenger RT 446 pack. Launched as Dodge's answer to the pony car craze, 1970 was the Challenger's debut year, and the RT 446 pack stole the spotlight. Under the hood sat a 440 cubic inch V8 with triple two-barrel carbs, delivering a robust 390 horsepower and 490 pounds of torque, a setup made for tearing up the strip and streets alike. The 1970 RT 446 pack ran the quarter mile in the low 13 seconds and could hit 60 miles per hour in just 5.5 seconds, leaving Camaros and Mustangs playing catch-up. Dodge gave the Challenger muscle and style with its menacing wide stance, shaker hood, and rally stripes. Only 847 4-speed manuals were built with this configuration, making them a rarity. Priced at $3,200 back then, Sotheby's priced the 1970 RT 446 pack at an auction between $200,000 and $250,000. Coming in at 13 is the 1970 Buick GS Stage 2. The 1970 Buick GS Stage 2 was the gentleman's muscle car with a bad attitude. Powered by a 455 cubic inch V8 upgraded with the Stage 2 package, it delivered 360 net horsepower and ran the quarter mile in 13.4 seconds at 106 miles per hour. With its understated styling and brutal performance, the GS Stage 2 proved Buick wasn't just about luxury. It could hold its own on the drag strip. Buick only produced a handful of Stage 2 cars, making it a unicorn in the muscle car world. Priced around $4,300 new, these rare beasts now ask upwards of $250,000. The 1970 Oldsmobile 442W30 convertible is our pick for number 12. Meet the 1970 Oldsmobile 442W30 convertible, the ultimate sleeper with a drop-top twist. This isn't just another muscle car. This is Oldsmobile going all in on raw power and style. Packing a 455 cubic inch V8 rated at a conservative 375 horsepower, but we know it was closer to 400, the W30 ripped down the quarter mile in 14.2 seconds at 101 miles per hour, putting it ahead of most competitors like the Chevelle SS396. Only 264 W30 convertibles were built, making it one of the rarest in its class. Meanwhile, its hardtop sibling saw a production run of 2,574 units. If you snagged one in 1970, you shelled out $4,100, which felt like a fortune then. Fast forward to now, and one recently sold for $250,000 at Sotheby's. Next, at 11 is the 1969 Chevrolet Corvette 427 Tri-Power. Nothing said American performance quite like the 1969 Chevrolet Corvette 427 Tri-Power. This setup allowed the Corvette to balance power with drivability, offering smooth cruising on two barrels while unleashing all three for full throttle acceleration. Packing a 427 cubic inch big block with triple carburetors, the 69 Chevrolet Corvette 427 Tri-Power churned out 435 ponies and screamed down the quarter mile at roughly 14 seconds. Its bold, long hood design with hidden headlights and side exit exhaust, coupled with a high-performance suspension and Posey traction rear axle, ensured the Corvette could handle its power with precision. Chevrolet built around 2,722 units, each costing $5,200 in 1969. You can own a Chevrolet Corvette 427 Tri-Power today if you have $250,000 in your pocket, and you can find one. Now starting the top 10, and at number 10 is the 1971 Plymouth Hemi-Cuda. The 1971 Plymouth Hemi-Cuda marked the final year of the legendary 426 Hemi in this iconic body style, making it a true end-of-an-era masterpiece. With the legendary 426 Hemi V8 on board, topped by a shaker hood, it churned out much more than 500 aggressive ponies, sprinted from 0 to 60 in just over 5 seconds, right through the quarter mile in the low 13s. Of the 108 Hemi-Cudas ordered in 1971, 7 were convertibles, making all of them extremely pricey and rare gems in today's muscle car arena. Priced around $4,300 back in the day, a pristine 1971 Plymouth Hemi-Cuda convertible 4-speed sold at a Meacham auction for $390,000, shattering all previous Mopar sales. At number 9 is the 1963 Pontiac Catalina 421 Super Duty. The 1963 Pontiac Catalina 421 Super Duty was Detroit's answer to drag strip domination. Its 421 cubic inch V8 was officially rated at 405 horsepower, but real-world numbers pushed closer to 460. The 63 Pontiac Catalina 421's weight-cutting Swiss cheese frame was a clue to the intent of the 1963 Pontiac Super Duty 421. With a quarter-mile time of 12.3 seconds at 116 miles per hour, it embarrassed everything in its path. Pontiac built fewer than 200 Super Duty Catalinas before pulling the plug on factory-backed racing, making it one of the rarest and most coveted Pontiacs ever. Originally priced around $3,800, these beasts now command over $500,000 under the hammer. Next, at number 8, is the 1969 Chevrolet Camaro ZL1 427. The 1969 Chevrolet Camaro ZL1 427 wasn't just a car. It was a legend built for the drag strip. Chevy took its Capo program to the extreme, creating a Camaro stuffed with the all-aluminum 427 cubic inch ZL1 V8. Rated at a conservative 430 horsepower, but delivering closer to 500 in reality, it was a street-legal rocket that could leave even big block Mustangs and Mopars eating dust. Clocking a quarter mile in roughly 13.2 seconds at over 110 miles per hour and hitting 0 to 60 in just 5.3 seconds, it was faster than anything else in its class. Chevy only made 69 of these purpose-built beasts, keeping it one of the rarest Camaros ever. Originally priced around $7,200, a jaw-dropping figure in '69, ZL1s now sell for over $1 million at top-tier auctions like Meacham or Barrett-Jackson. Down at number 7 is the 1970 Chevrolet Chevelle SS 454 LS convertible. 1970 Chevrolet Chevelle SS 454 LS convertible, king of the streets. That's what they called the 1970 Chevrolet Chevelle SS 454 LS convertible. With a 454 cubic inch big block V8, this beast churned out a jaw-dropping 450 horsepower. In the quarter mile, it roared past the finish line in 13.1 seconds at 107 miles per hour, leaving even the fiercest rivals in its wake. It was faster than most Ferraris of the time. Fewer than 20 convertibles with the LS6 engine were ever built, making it one of the rarest muscle cars. Originally sold for around $3,800, one recently fetched over $1.2 million at auction. The 1970 Plymouth Superbird 426 Hemi slots in at number 6. Built to bring Richard Petty back to Plymouth, the 1970 Superbird 426 Hemi is the epitome of go big or go home. With its cartoonishly huge rear wing and pointed nose, it's a car you couldn't ignore, even if you tried. The 426 Hemi engine cranked out 425 horsepower, rocketing this bird down the quarter mile in 13.5 seconds at 105 miles per hour. 135 Hemi Superbirds were built out of 1,920 total, making it as rare as it was outrageous. The $4,298 sticker price in 1970 seems steep, but these days, they're fetching close to $1.5 million at auction. At number 5 is none other than the 1970 Plymouth Roadrunner Superbird. 1970 was all about pushing limits. Plymouth dropped the Roadrunner Superbird, a car so wild it looked ready to take flight. Built to crush NASCAR tracks and tickle the nostalgia of Saturday cartoons, this street-legal racer had a massive wing and a bullet-like nose cone that turned every head. Under that aerodynamic madness was a 426 Hemi V8 pumping out 425 horsepower. Or the 440 Super Commando for those wanting slightly less heat. It hit 60 miles per hour in a blistering 5.5 seconds and devoured the quarter mile in 13.5 seconds at over 105 miles per hour. NASCAR stars like Richard Petty helped cement its legacy. Plymouth made 1,935 units, priced at about $4,300 new. At a Las Vegas Barrett-Jackson in 2022, one sold for $1.6 million. The number 4 position goes to the 1969 Dodge Daytona 426 Hemi. This winged warrior is pure Mopar madness, built for speed and NASCAR glory. The 1969 Dodge Daytona 426 Hemi was born to dominate. boasting the iconic Hemi V8 under its elongated hood. Its massive rear wing and aerodynamic nose were controversial at the time, but legendary now. Pumping out a massive 425 horsepower, it shot down the quarter mile in just 13.4 seconds at 105 miles per hour. Only 503 were made to meet homologation rules, making it a rare bird indeed. Introduced with a price tag of $4,998, it's now a holy grail for collectors, with auction prices soaring past $1.7 million. Next, at number 3 is the 1970 Plymouth GTX 426 Hemi. The 1970 Plymouth GTX 426 Hemi was Mopar's Velvet Hammer, a muscle car with muscle and class to spare. Dubbed the gentleman's muscle car, it combined luxury touches with raw, unapologetic performance. Powered by the fierce 426 Hemi engine, this factory powerhouse delivered a jaw-dropping 425 horsepower and 490 pounds of torque. Back then, it could crush the quarter mile in 13.85 seconds at 105 miles per hour, leaving rivals like the GTO and Chevelle SS in the dust. Plymouth revamped the GTX in 1970 with an aggressive grille, bold body lines, and iconic air grabber hood. Of just 7,748 GTXs produced in 1970, only 44 were fitted with the mighty Hemi, making it rarer than gold. Originally priced around $4,000, these beasts fetched top dollar at auctions. In 2019 at Meacham Indy, a lemon twist 1970 Plymouth Hemi Cuda convertible was sold for $1,980,000. The 1967 Chevrolet Corvette L88 Coupe sits at the number 2 position. Forget street racing. The 1967 Chevrolet Corvette L88 Coupe was a race car disguised as a street machine. Under the hood lurked a monstrous 427 cubic inch V8 officially rated at 430 horsepower, though insiders knew it was closer to 560. With a quarter mile time of 12.8 seconds at 108 miles per hour, it blew past nearly everything else on the road. This vet was all business. No radio, no heater, just speed. Chevy built just 20 L88s in 1967, adding to its mystique. At $6,325 new, it was a wallet buster back then. But today, it's a unicorn, with auction prices topping $3.5 million. Finally, at number 1 is the 1966 Shelby Cobra 427 Super Snake. When Carroll Shelby dreamed up the 1966 Shelby Cobra 427 Super Snake, he wasn't aiming for tame. This was a fire-breathing beast, built to slay pretty much anything else on the road. Packing a supercharged 427 cubic inch V8 under the hood, this monster pumped out a ridiculous 800 horsepower, making it one of the wildest street-legal Cobras ever. The Super Snake blitzed from 0 to 60 in a neck-snapping 3.2 seconds. Its quarter-mile time, a jaw-dropping 10.3 seconds at 152 miles per hour, back in an era when that was borderline sci-fi. Only 2 were made, one for Shelby himself and the other for comedian Bill Cosby. The price tag back then, around $7,500. A Shelby 427 Cobra today? Good luck. At a Barrett-Jackson auction in 2021, it fetched a jaw-dropping $5.5 million.